challenges earlier.
Yeah.
I stumbled across the name when I went on the PC. I forgot all about her. You know who Helen Keller is?
Uh, God, I should know. I know, but I don't know. Who's Helen Keller again?
If I recall, she was born in the 1880s or 90s back in Alabama somewhere,
Okay.
U.S. And when she was a child, about 1.5, 2 years old, something like that, she got some kind of fever or sickness that caused her to go blind and deaf at that age. So she had limited remembrance of visions of any kind. And so you talk about a challenge in life, and there, what she had to learn how to read and write and understand the world with blindness and deafness. And there was one teacher that helped her out. Her name was, I think, Anne Sullivan, something like that, that taught her things that made her a really great writer and author. And she was very intelligent, actually, Helen Keller. But again, she didn't give up because of these challenges. She actually took it as something she had to achieve, and she liked doing stuff for herself.
Oh.
And one of the things, if I recall, that she said, one frustrating thing for her, and again I could have it half wrong, it's been so long, is the one thing that irritated her is that uh, people, hey, what's the matter?
There's a dog out there barking.
The one thing that aggravated her is that people with sight
Uh-huh.
basically didn't have a vision. You know what that meant?
They didn't appreciate the vision they had?
They didn't have a vision of their life and fulfilling it as best they can through learning, education, and getting through hard times. And it just frustrated her because she had to work 10 times harder than most people without vision. So that's kind of what she meant.
Mm.
She had no room for people who didn't do things or face life challenges. So take a look at me. What are you complaining about? That kind of thing, right? So she was pretty inspirational. She was very famous. So even the challenge you face today, and me, right?
Well,
It's easy to give up, but just keep trying. Yeah, it's a very interesting piece. I gotta pull up and read more about her. She's got a few books out there. She was a pretty good author. One of them's My Life. I suggest reading it. I gotta go find it again. She talks about all those challenges she went through. And the ways I remember is because we had to read it in high school, way back.
really?
Yep, I just remember glimpses of it. No pun intended. But yeah.
Hmm.
So, life's lessons. I would look into the audiobook Joy of Life and the Meaning of Desmond Tutu and what was the other guy? I forgot already.
Llama?
Thank you. And read about Helen Keller a little bit and her life story. I think there's audiobooks out there for free. You can find them on anywhere. Just listen a little bit. Kind of picks you up dealing. You think you got your problems all the time, and you don't. There's so many people that have far more challenges than you and I. Nice day out, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is an example day where humidity is high, but the dew point is, the pressure is high. Humidity is a little high, but the dew point is low.
I
So it
don't
feels
feel.
comfortable.
I don't think the humidity's that high. It doesn't feel that high.
It was like 60% normally, but if it was lower pressure, it would feel worse because lower pressure, the water molecules expand or something, so you feel more of it. When there's higher pressure, molecules shrink, they can't contain, and therefore you don't feel it as much. But people always look at humidity and temperature. Well, it's not just that. Look at the dew point. And it only goes up by like 29 to 30 point something, and there's some elongated equation on what it means, but that's a lot better indication of how it feels outside than just humidity and temperature. Dew point. So you learned something today, didn't you?
Yeah.
So did your friends.
So you filled up the water for the birds, and you put some peanuts out for the critter again?
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't want to put too much because their babies have to learn how to fend for themselves.
Did you see babies now?
Yeah, they were running around. There's a couple of them, about 2.5 inches long. They come out when they're about that big. They chase each other on the deck and they go back down.
Well, I didn't see the babies yet.
Yeah,
Probably found a good home here since you're feeding them. They're like, okay, time to have some babies.
they do naturally around this time anyway. And they prepare them, learn how to eat and survive before winter comes. And they'll go off on their own like you will one day. Speaking of which, we'll talk later. There's a little more we need to do around here, okay? You didn't use the convertible top, did you, again?
No.
Good.
That's
I'm
broken.
I gotta take that to be fixed, or you can. I'll show you where to take it or something. You know that I think it's Asga, that place you go to?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually it's Oahu or something like that. Oahu or something. In Mexican, I can't say it very well.
Okay.
But that's actually the name of a city in Mexico. It's a very nice place, actually.
Oh.
Look it up, it's a small place.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
one
just
of
like the
safer-
restaurant, it's small.
Yeah, it's one of the safer areas in Mexico.
Hmm.
The last place you want to go to Mexico is Mexico City. I've been there several times. I used to work at Chrysler to visit the guys that used to report to me down there. And when you're flying in, I think I told you, you're flying in, it's nothing but the city. There's like 20 million people that live there. And when you're flying in, before you land, you're like a half hour flying over suburbs and everything. It's that big until you finally land. And in my case, I had escorts drive me around because when you drive there, it's crazy. A lot of Volkswagens, a lot of small cars, fairly well dented. You drive through those circles like no tomorrow, those roundabouts.
Yep.
And it's kind of fun when they're driving because they come within inches of each other as they wedge through and get through traffic.
No way that would fly here in America.
No. Well, there's too many guns here to begin with.
Too many guns here.
Yeah, you probably get shot on the way in and shot on the way out. But very interesting place. Yeah, I saw armed guards at some of the malls there.
Mm-hmm.
The black boots and black outfit and the guns pointing down. Then other areas where it was nothing. In the parks like we got here, there was mostly like dirt tracks for them to ride their bikes or four wheels or whatever. That was like really popular, especially the dirt bikes down there.
Well, it's cheap on gas, and it's like a vehicle.
I guess, I don't know. But a lot of poor people there. A lot of poor people. They're very religious and nice people. They don't need much. They understand and be happy with what they have. Hey, we did some charity work down there and cleaning up and helping move equipment around to build more homes.
Was there any nice parts that you saw, or was it all like...
Oh, there's nice parts, absolutely. But there's a lot of, just like anywhere else, the bad areas. There was more bad areas than I thought there were poor areas there than I've seen good, but I don't know everything. I wasn't through the whole city. Mexico City's huge. Hey, like I said, there's 20 million people there. But nicest people out.
That thing is so loud.
Dog?
No, the air conditioner.
Yeah, but that between that and the dog, yeah, you're right. So what's plans for tonight?
What's the plans?
The plans, Dan? So you have no vision. Kyler, remember that.
What do you mean I have no vision?
What
Do I have to go
what's
blind?
Your plans for now?
Do I have to go blind to get vision?
No.
What?
Just say what's your vision for tonight and the next week. What's your plans?
My plan is to keep working out
That's a good one.
and to grow my stream, which my mom doesn't approve of.
I wouldn't talk about your mother. You're old enough now where you don't have to reference what you want. Within reason.
Yeah.
People, speaking of that,
I need to speak out loud for therapy.
well, freedom has a price. Freedom is not free. Freedom is working together. Without that, there is no freedom, and people don't understand that. With all these anti-mask and vaxxers, even Helen Keller made a reference, I believe, at one point, was that without people working together, there is no future. There is no us. There's no freedom. Something along those lines.
Should have ordered a second burrito. That's so good, but that's a big one.
You gotta stop when somebody tells you to stop eating. Most people don't think anything. They're very mindfulness, as I fail at that, so do you. You have to remember when you're eating to think about eating, what you're eating, how you're feeling, or do you feel full yet? When to stop. We don't do that very well. We watch TV, we think about other things, we talk too much. And before you know it, the whole plate is gone, and what did I just eat? Right?
That's true, yeah.
You just don't think about it.
No, you just eat the whole plate.
Yeah, it's called mindfulness eating.
I was laughing so hard when I took your phone,
Yeah.
and every time I opened it or whatever, it had that note.
Yep.
Stop eating fat, you idiot, or something.
Oh yeah, because I put that in there about it was last week. I checked my sugar level, my weight, and I was holding water. And
Yeah.
I just got mad. So what the fuck am I doing to myself? It's so hard to break that
No, it is.
habit. Eating habits are like drugs, you know. It's just hard to stop. Or smoking or drinking, like any habit. But eating, I think, is one of the most difficult to do. Especially sugar.
Yeah.
I've heard many times sugar's like an opioid. It's just
Yeah,
Right.
sugar's terrible.
your
Luckily,
mind-
I don't know how I never like got into sugar. I like breads, but not really sugars.
Well, bread, carbs metabolize into
Yeah,
glucose,
but
which is not good for you either. So it's the middle carb is the best thing. We got to do that. Strict on carbs. I've been eating it since I was a kid. Well, here you guys streaming on?
yeah, why you want to tell
Start.
them something?
No, it's okay. I guess it's okay. But speaking of carbs, I grew up on carbs, and we were poor. My dad died when I was 8. Not that you guys care.
You said that with like a attitude. I'm
No, it's
sorry.
not an attitude. Nobody cares about your hardships, and they shouldn't. I don't care if they do or not.
No, some guy said you're a monk, and then some guy said you seem like the guy that they could smoke a joint with.
Oh yeah, we'd have a good time. I don't need joints. I tried it. It got me sick. But, that was when I was young. Yeah, we could make it very meaningful. You gotta play Jimi Hendrix and ZZ Top and things like that. Though. A stuff, the old stuff.
Yeah, we could play ZZ Top and Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, the guy just died. But anyway, I was getting back to carbs.
Yeah.
So I was brought up on a kid because carbs were cheap back then, and they are now too. That's why everyone's so fat.
Yeah.
I used to make Oreo sandwiches for lunch for me and my sisters because we were 4. Oreo sandwiches. You ever try that? No, of course not.
What do you mean? I had Oreos, but
Not a
not.
sandwich between bread?
You put Oreos between bread?
Yes, it's called the Oreo sandwich.
Why?
Because we were poor, we didn't have lunch meat. So my point is, I grew up on carbs and I've been hooked on it since I was a kid.
Like, are you saying you put the whole cookie or just the white stuff?
The whole cookie. You had like the 3 or 4 cookies in there, 5 cookies. Where I could fit between 2 slices of white Wonder Bread. And we used to have that for lunch. And then I buy chocolate milk at the school to have with it. How's that for lunch? Oreo cookie sandwich and then chocolate milk.
Well, chocolate milk goes good with cookies. I mean,
Well, yeah.
but then you throw. Why do you throw the bread? I guess the bread. I don't know. Did that?
Because all the kids were having sandwiches, and I was embarrassed that I couldn't have meat
Oh.
between, so I hid the cookies in the sandwich and ate it. I don't think anyone ever noticed. I was a young kid. I was, what, 9, 10 years old?
Oh, you did it out of embarrassment.
Yeah, I never tried any other cookie, just Oreos. I think that's all my mom bought.
Did it taste good?
I don't think so, but who cares?
Well, I'm just saying nowadays you could probably market that.
Oreo cookie sandwich?
And I'm sure that might be a thing.
So Jesus.
Make it a thing.
For all the diabetics out there and overweight people,
Hey, that's America.
you have a new carbohydrate. Let's see, what else can you put on that Oreo cookie sandwich? Slice of cheese, maybe?
Oh, that sounds. Ugh.
Exactly.
No way.
And maybe some potato chips. Doritos.
I mean, but that's what they're doing with burgers. It's the same thing.
Maybe all those guys that like smoking joints can have that as a sandwich. You get hungry fast, don't you?
Yeah, you can have that.
Oreo
Exactly.
cookie sandwich. Try it when you're high. See how it tastes.
Try Oreo sandwiches when you're high, guys.
Let me know how it works out. Yeah, it's called survival. When you're young and your dad's gone, you do what you have to and you're poor.
That's true.
But we had fun. Didn't need money.
Like bologna or nothing was cheap.
We had bologna now and then. But my mom, we were broke.
Oh.
Electricity shut off.
Oh.
It was hard for her to get by, so she gave us what she could. She didn't know about sandwiches, but I made the stuff for my sisters and me. Boy, that thing is loud.
It is. Yeah.
So much better now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice out. Dalai Lama, that was it. Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. There you go. We got some good stuff, and it's not religious. That's like one thing I liked about that.
You don't like religious people or thing?
No, I actually with religion, I think there's what thousands of religions out there. Who knows who's right, who's wrong?
Yeah.
And maybe they're all saying the same thing. Something was created from nothing, right?
Yeah.
That's the Big Bang Theory and the photons that collided and made different molecules and all that, whatever it is. And let there be light. Well, that was a big light, right? They're saying the same thing in a different language. That's how I view religions. And we're always fighting over words, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
You believe in some supreme God? Well, I believe that there's some intelligent energy. Maybe it's just photons, or maybe there is somebody behind it, but I doubt it.
All they have to do is watch the Marvel movies and stuff, and then
Oh yeah, that's a good lesson.
they'll explain the universe to you.
Yeah, well, I believe what Neil deGrasse Tyson believes. That our intelligence is limited, and there's so much we can understand, and unfortunately, there's probably a lot more to it, but we don't have the capacity to understand it. And basically, I think, who cares? The meaning of life is just basically you and surviving and making the best of it. That's it. Nothing more. End of sentence. You can argue over the meaning of life. Yeah. Make it better for the next guy. Yeah, well, that's called taking care of yourself and your environment. You do that automatically. So many people are hung up on the meaning of life, and I don't know why. But that's the way it is.
I don't know, does it keep them going or something?
I guess a quest for understanding what can't be understood. Maybe. Sounds like an infinite loop to me if you're a programmer. Go for it.
I mean, it is, but I mean, maybe.
Gives you something.
Well,
to do.
I mean, it's the same thing, right? With or what? Like, I don't know. You can say the same thing about like people with a vision or people with a purpose. Like people feel the need to have a purpose or a vision.
So you were born with a purpose. It's called eating and sleeping
And reproducing.
Well, if you want, that's an option.
Well,
It's an enticing option because the species has to survive, right? And keep going. You're inherently programmed it.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a tough one to break because like what's his name said.
Who's that?
Robin Williams, who unfortunately committed suicide because he was depressed. One of his jokes was, "We're born through the woman's womb, and we spend the rest of our lives trying to get back in." Did you get it?
Huh.
You don't find that funny?
Wait. Oh, we're born through the woman's womb.
Womb,
Oh, and
and
we spend the rest of our lives trying to get back in. That's funny, actually.
He's right. Yeah, that was Robin Williams. He was kind of crazy, but he made a lot of sense about things too, like most comedians do. There's a John Oliver. I gotta watch it. I caught up. He had a lot of good things lately. 10 over
Mm-hmm.
tonight. Last week tonight. That's pretty good. You guys gotta watch that if you don't. I suggest it. It makes a lot of sense. A lot of comedians make sense. They laugh about it. And joke about it.
Well, I was actually just reading a story when I was looking on like happiness and all that shit, and there was this.
Happiness and shit don't go together.
Well, there's a famous like three like monks basically in China that are very well known, and there's statues all over of them. And what they would do is they would just go around to different cities, and they would just gather like in a crowded place, and just laugh. That's all they would do. Was just gather around and laugh, and then people kept staring at them like, "Why are you guys laughing?" Right? And then eventually, if you stare at someone laughing, then you start laughing.
That's the phrase, happiness is contagious.
I mean, it is. So, like, you have around three people laughing. They're wondering what the hell's going on,
Like
right?
goldfish, we kind of go with the crowd and what they're doing. Look up, everyone looks up, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, easily.
Everyone says,
Like, if you jarringly look up, everyone's going to look, oh,
and a lot of folks, the election was stolen. Oh, big lie, big lie. Oh, yeah, cool.
Well, everyone,
whatever.
I mean, it's on both sides, right?
Yeah.
But
that's another issue. Don't talk politics.
don't talk
I could
about.
be here all day talking about that. I avoid it.
They actually would probably want to hear you talk politics, to be honest.
No, I think that we got to get over this two-team thing, and there's really much more behind this two-team thing going on than people realize. It's if you really look at the source of the information and what they're about, it's all coming down to money and power. They want us divided. Well, they're stealing the bank and getting the advantages, right?
No shit, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. And if people got back to us, try talking an issue without bringing up a politician or a party. Just try it, and you'll have more meaningful conversation. You'll find out you probably agree on 78% of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Those
And then
guys-
a lot of times people will say things in two different ways, right? Or they'll say things that could come to a compromise, right? Like,
So there's one classic example I use of how, and I'm not beating up a medium. It's just how the powerful are dividing us. I was watching one news outlet, and this is when Obama was running. That's whether you like him or not. And he was talking about saving $500 billion, or half a trillion, in Medicare and Medicaid costs by eliminating fraud. I turn on another channel and it says, "Oh, this bad guy or these bad people are trying to take a half a trillion out of Medicare."
well,
They didn't tell you it was to eliminate fraud. They just made it a negative point, like they're trying to reduce your Medicaid. They were lying to you. They were half right. They were reducing costs, actually, not taking it away from you.
well,
So that's why
that,
you got to watch your news outlets, because they don't always give you the full story,
no.
and they give you half truths and say, "Well, okay."
I mean, that happens for everything, right? Celebrities.
Buyer beware and information. Don't just get it from one source. And
Well,
really
there's the game of telephone where you say one thing to a person, they take it differently. Then they tell another person, they take it differently, right? By the time you tell 10 people, it could be an article completely different.
there's that too.
And people do the same thing with
There's that
stocks.
too.
They'll pay people to say different things about stocks. Same thing with the
Yeah.
news. I mean, you could twist any story if you're good enough.
That's why you got to really do your own homework. And most Americans, I don't know where people are from, they want it easy because they got busy schedules and they just watch the news and just follow it like followers do. And others look at the sources. I used to be that way, I admit it. Then I changed. That's why I became independent. I do read more. If you go to government sites, at some point you got to believe it, right?
Right.
If you like this border stuff, well, if you look at the stats and all, it's not as bad as they say. Just making it a political issue, right? So, okay, yeah, we got a lot of influx right now, but it'll tone down and go back to normal rates. And by the way, most of the problem, if it consider a problem, people coming in is coming in on planes. Over 60% extend their visas from any country, and so what? I don't care who comes here and does what, as long as they obey laws and good people and they do their best. That's all I care about.
I mean, even if you have the best walls, everything, people are still gonna get in.
Yeah, I try to tell everyone, you know what? We're all cousins of each other. We come from the same place. Guess what? 6 million years ago, roughly, we started up in South Africa when it was basically one continent, right?
Yeah.
Or
Pangea or whatever.
or part of another continent. I forget, exact picture of it. Then over time, we migrated from there, and basically ended up in spots that turn your skin color lighter because there's not as much sun.
Right.
So we're all the freaking same. And United States and Europe and I don't know how long in Australia, we've really only inhabited it for the last 60,000 to 100,000 years, based on all the bone structures they found of primates and whatnot. So all this BS on skin color is just plain ignorance. We're all the same.
Oh, but I was gonna tell you the to finish that story with the monks though.
Yeah.
So they kept traveling town to town. They got super well known, and then they kept laughing, kept making other people laugh, and then one day one of them died, and then people showed up and they were expecting something to happen, and the other two were just laughing again. And they usually don't reply to other people trying to ask them like, why do you always laugh and stuff. They normally don't reply, but someone said, why are you still laughing? Your friend just died. And he said he told us to continue on laughing, and he said he wants to be buried the way he is with the dirty clothes or whatever he was wearing. And he said, I don't I want everyone to know that I never let life's cruelties or dirtiness touch my soul or something like that. And so he never let the dark side of life basically to get to him.
Well,
And so they kept laughing.
yeah.
You
Speaking
know.
of monks, Dalai Lama, I hate to hear. I just read about him. That's why I'm referencing him. Is that he he believed, like Desmond Tutu, that life is positive and fun because of some of the negatives you have to go through. You would never recognize positive without a negative, right? You would know what happiness is.
Well, I mean that's the thing, right? Like you just don't. Like if you never experienced when you experience shit, then you realize, oh shit, well just being alive's pretty fucking good, right? Because you're not in that bad spot, right?
Yeah, life is good, period. And like you keep saying.
But
life,
meanwhile,
no
like on the
hurdles
other hand, too, if everything's always good and then one bad thing happens, you think it's the end of the world, right? Because you're just not used to it.
If everything was all good and everything, you won every freaking game you played, right?
Yeah, that would be nice.
You got every guy or chick you wanted. You
That
got
would be
anything
nice.
you wanted.
That would
Money
be-
just fell out of the sky.
That's yeah.
You could eat all the
please.
hamburgers and never gain weight.
Okay, I mean you can only eat so many hamburgers though.
How boring would that be?
It'd be fun for a while, but then
For
it'd
about
probably
10 minutes and drive you nuts.
yeah.
It's okay, just play the game. I win automatically, so I could just sit here and do nothing and I'd still win.
Yeah,
What's the point?
yeah.
So you're in hell then. Right?
Well, I mean, but some people just get off to being better than the next person. And I think a lot of people do.
So
Like if they can compare themselves and just say I'm better than this person, then
yeah, here's my theory. No one's better than anybody.
yeah.
We're all the freaking same. We eat and poop the same and everything else, right?
Mhm.
We're all the freaking same. No one's better than anybody else. It's no such thing as being better than anyone. We make up things you can be better at football or tennis and whatever, but that's just your skill. It doesn't make you better than the other person. But hey, whatever. Who listens to me? Well, enough philosophy. I'm hungry.
Speaking of which, they said they want a barbecue stream sometime.
What's a barbecue stream? Is that something you eat?
No, you show the stream how to barbecue. They want to know how.
I'm not the best barbecuer around here.
Well, we can try.
There's so many Google. You can do a Google.
Yeah, but they like what from their favorite person.
Was that you?
No.
I'd like
not.
to see your stream when you barbecuing.
Okay, you can.
I would enjoy that.
Okay, you could give me some tips. You could be the
How
camera.
about-
You could be the cameraman.
How about a stream of you doing laundry?
Sure. See,
Okay.
my mom can.
I mean, you've done it
We
before.
can turn it into a positive thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, a barbecue stream, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. What do you want for a barbecue? Hot dogs, hamburgers?
We can make a bunch
Chicken.
of. We can make a bunch of stuff.
Uh,
Sample some stuff.
well, I'm an amateur when it comes to that.
That's okay. They're here for amateur barbecue stuff.
Okay, we'll figure something out. Right now, we'll take the easy way out and get a carryout.
Well, that's what I did. I got my burrito.
No, I've got Polish food in the house to cook too. What's that called? The pierogies. Hey,
Pierogies.
pierogies. If you never had a pierogi, you gotta have a pierogi. You fry it slow in butter, really half or a small flame for about 5-10 minutes each side, lightly brown with onions. Oh boy, is that good! Polish food. All those Polish people are fat.
Yeah.
We eat too many
Yeah.
carbs. We were born on it.
Why do Polish people have so many desserts too? Punchkis,
Every culture
those
has a lot
butter
of dessert.
cookies, those other cookies, those ones with the fillings.
It's a drug that's been passed through the years, right?
Yeah, I guess.
These carbs are killing us, and we keep eating it. I know it's killing us, and I still do it. But get over the hurdle one day, I suppose. The trick was when I did stay off carbs, I lost what, close to 30-some pounds. I was feeling good. But the minute I started on one carb, boy, it just went
It just
crazy.
came back.
Oh yeah, it's like overwhelming.
So I
I
mean,
gotta have a little more. I gotta have a little more. I'll start tomorrow again, and it just catches up with you. It's a
because
vicious cycle.
like
So most of what I'm telling you, most of the issues are all psychological. Everything's mental. Period. It's mental strength. It's hard.
but I wonder if your body, like, because if you just change your diet, right, temporarily, I mean, the minute you go back, it's just gonna go back. But like, if you work out, right, then you're actively burning more every day, right? You're burning more calories.
Yeah, I'll just walk. There's a lot of people I know that just walk their whole life and they were perfectly fine. You don't need hardcore exercise. In fact, they proved that